I pull up, roll the window down it. I pull up, roll the window down it. Yeah, I pull up, roll the window down it.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. Cause the love you give, you can't That's why I spend my life with you.
Hi, hotties, kettles, tea stirs. You're here for hot tea. All commentary is alleged, and in my opinion, this is for entertainment purposes only. If you haven't checked out part 1 and 2 of debunking Dusty Dan, you should definitely check out those 2 videos so you can follow along. I gave you guys a straight debunker in the last video, but I'm going to add some context in this video, give you guys some timelines, some dates, etc. in this part 3, because Dusty Dan is a lying ass hoe, and I believe she challenged us to pull the videos or roll the clips, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be rolling the clips and making some sense out of all of her chaos, because she is delusional. She seemed to think that people do not remember when she went on a crusade speaking about male in a derogatory way, because you started it, you fat-faced lady. These are some of the things that we talk about when we speak about Dusty Dan. She is just so insufferable to watch. Nobody can really relate to her. She's so fake. She's so phony. She's always playing a victim, and she's very aggressive. She's not transparent, and she's always lying. Nothing that she says ever makes sense, and it never adds up per her actions. So she would say one thing, but her actions truly says another thing, or it shows her true intentions. And really, we're just quite tired of Dusty Dan, because when you really think about it and you look back on everything, Melody didn't do anything to this fat-faced ass lady for her to have all of this resentment and all of this bass and aggression in her voice when it comes to Mel. You're more mad at yourself for playing your cards wrong than anything, and you're trying to take your anger out on the wrong person. You have misplaced anger. You need to deal with yourself in your fat ass face, because nobody did anything to you. And again, once I get done with debunking her lying ass, because you did go on a crusade speaking about Mel before she ever responded to your ass, I am then going to break down the demise of their friendship, because fat-faced Dusty Dan seems to think that she didn't or wasn't the cause of the demise of their friendship, when she in fact was the very cause. Now, I don't care. Y'all can be as dense as y'all fucking want, but now that we know everything about her Mel's baby mama, and after everything that we've seen on television, and Dusty Dan coming out trying to say that her ex-husband was just like Mel's baby mama, is all the reason to hold her feet to the flame even more, because she's a fat-faced lie. But 2, if you really went through those things, or it was really how you're trying to portray it, how is it that you're not triggered by a man like Mel's baby mama? And how is it that you can still be friends with a man like that versus Mel? And again, like I've always said across all of my platforms, it doesn't matter if you don't like a person or if you fall out with a person. A real bitch ain't never gonna co-sign a man like Martell. And Dusty Dan, that's where you lost a lot of the audience. It's not the fact that you fell out with Mel, because we don't give a fuck. You know, friendships rise and fall. It's the fact that you have single-handedly aligned yourself with not only her abuser, but everybody that are not good for her, or anybody that has been on an opposing side of hers. That's the same thing Stormy did. And you weird fucking bitches think that the real world and people that watch the show isn't going to notice that. Again, you claim you was this woman friend, but you aligned yourself around the time that she was going through a divorce with all of her ops. So again, bitch, you like to say that you went through a hard divorce, this, that, and the third. But if you really were going through those things, then you would be able to relate and resonate with a woman like Mel. But you were never a friend to her. You was always a hater ass, envious ass, jealous ass bitch, and you chose the wrong team. You thought that if you aligned yourself with Martell because you're an opportunistic ass bitch, that you would be able to elevate yourself. But you, and along with everybody else, soon learned that that was the wrong team, and he was really a dummy, and Mel really shielded and protected him. And this is just how I view everything. So to break everything down, Dusty Dan had a conversation with Letitia at one reunion, and this is how all of this shit started. Sidebar, Dusty Dan had already let it be known that she didn't want to choose between Mel and Martell. So to me, that was strike number one, because once he started taking her to court for full custody of her kids, as a woman, where do you align? And I think, again, that is the disconnect. That's where most people or most women don't resonate with you or understand you. I don't give a fuck how much another woman don't like the next bitch. Most of them, or most of the real ones, are not going to align themselves with the man that's trying to take her kids away, because real women have empathy and sympathy for other women, and we can put ourselves in those shoes. And I don't know how I would feel if my ex-husband was trying to take my children away after he ruined his marriage. And this is why when you went on the crusade trying to bash Mel, you look stupid as fuck. And this is why you still haven't gone anywhere in your life. And again, you try to talk about Mel having a old Range Rover or whatever the case may be, but look at what the fuck you drive, babe. And Mercedes still trying to get their Benz back. But Dusty Dan is a big fat liar. She went and did multiple interviews discussing how she felt like Mel wasn't being a good friend to her. The reason why she was saying Mel wasn't a good friend to her was because Mel wasn't answering the phone or Mel wasn't available, which I thought was very disingenuous considering Mel was going through a divorce. And this is how you know y'all a bunch of bitter ass weird bitches that ain't got nothing going on with y'all life, because I got a best friend and I probably talk to this lady 3 times a year, but best because we grown. We got fucking shit going on. I can't keep up with her every day, and I don't want to keep up with her every day. And Dusty Dan just seemed like a needy ass person. She's just one of those needy ass friends that gotta be all up in your face, and the minute you don't talk to her every single day of the fucking week, she out here, you know, in her mind, she is the one making up shit in her head and assuming things about y'all relationship because you are stressed out in life and don't want to be fucking sharing your business with the bitch that's running to your fucking ex-husband, telling your business to him because she claims she don't want to choose a friendship. That's what I'm saying about the entitlement. You felt so entitled to this lady's life to the point in which you didn't want to dissolve the friendship with her ex-husband, but you still wanted to be friends with her. You still wanted her to communicate her every move and speak to you on a day-to-day, even though he was trying to take her to court for full custody of her kids. That's what I'm saying, Dusty Dan. Nothing that you fucking say ever makes sense. And somebody said in the comment section, no matter what, even if you guys fell out, the things that you went and did and the way you went about it did not warrant anything. It didn't warrant anything. Mel's actions didn't warrant the shit that you were out here saying about her. And that is the point, which is why she ultimately told the world, how is it that she going around talking about me in all of these interviews, but I lent her $6,000? If I'm such a bad friend, then why would I do that for you? And here your big faced ass coming back 2 years later trying to talk about, oh, well, that money, it don't even make sense, this, that, and the third. Pussy asshole. See, that's what I'm saying. Worry about that car that you're driving, okay? Worry about the position that you are in still today, because again, you went on that crusade to try to bash that lady, but this is how we know what your true intentions are, because look at where you stand today. And y'all gonna start listening to me when I tell y'all your intent will reveal itself based on your future and how your life pans out. So your intentions, when you choose to do something, people will know, or spiritual people will know your genuine intentions based on how your life pans out, however many years from the date of you doing or saying X, Y, and Z. And people don't ever think about things like that. Look at all of the favor Mel has, because Mel truly tried to move on with Grace, and she was very genuine, and her intentions were not to be what these people were trying to make her out to be. And I think for that is the difference. Dusty Dan's intentions were not good, which is ultimately why we get to see her live the life that she's living. Even when it comes down to Nostradamus, her intentions for being on this show were not genuine, real, and good, which is why she's getting the outcome on this show that she has gotten. And even when it comes to Mel's baby mama, his intent was never good, which is why nothing has panned out for him. Every single thing that he touches fall in and burn into flames because his intentions are so far off, it would never be able to fight or go up against the divine. And some of y'all gonna need to learn that shit. Anyways, I wanted to come in and give you guys my opinions and my depths pertaining to this situation. And I also wanted to drop some more videos in this debunkture just to debunk Dusty Dan because she's always fucking lying. So like I said, Dusty Dan had gone on interviews years prior to Mel went on the Carlos live show and said that she had loaned Dusty Dan some $6,000. So I need y'all to understand, Dusty Dan had already did 5 interviews talking about how she felt like Mel was not that good of a friend to her because the way she went about it, and alluding to Mel not being a good friend, etc., etc. So Mel turned around and said, if I'm such a bad friend, then why did I lend you $6,000? Then Dusty Dan used that as a green light to go on live to start bashing Mel consistently, and then sharing the fact that she had to allegedly rent cars out for Mel. And all I would say is, if that were true, look at where you are today and look at where she is. Y'all went through the same thing and she still was able to pull herself up by the bootstrap, even though she had a hating ass fat faced bitch like you on her 6 trying to fucking bring her down with her ex-husband and his weird ass sloppy ass mistress. And this is why I say she used that therapist lady to bring up a conversation so Mel could respond. And this is why I feel like she wanted Mel to respond so she can reveal something, because that's what she did the first time. She literally spoke shit about Mel in every interview, and then the one time Mel responded, she took to her live to start exposing the fact that she had helped Mel out once or twice or whatever. And then Dusty Dan is such a weird coward ass hoe. When Melody and Dusty Dan were filming face to face, Melody basically called her out and was like, we were communicating. You went on the reunion and said we weren't talking in front of all of these people, but we were communicating. Dusty Dan tried to say, oh, well, that was a text message. Bitch, we were communicating. You're trying to make it seem like I just ghosted you when I was checking in with you. I don't gotta fucking call your weird ass. Grow the fuck up. You're a grown ass fucking woman. I don't gotta fucking call you and check in with you like you my fucking mama or something, girl. I'm a grown ass woman with fucking 4 kids and going through a divorce. What are you talking about? These are some of the things that I say. When you look at these male identified hoes, they are never going to come from an empathetic place because they are not for the woman plight. They don't give a fuck about your plight. They come from a very male identified place. And a lot of times men are takers. They take. They're very invasive. Dusty Dan has that same masculine as hell energy. And then Mel went live to even apologize for not being as available. But again, Mel, you never did anything wrong. And your gut feeling about that bitch was always right. And time always reveals all. I say that every time, and I mean it. Time reveals all. Time is going to expose every fucking thing. Just sit back and wait it out. It always show and prove. So y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the post notification bell so y'all are up to date each and every time that I upload.
I wasn't as available, and I'll say it till the lights go down. I wasn't as available, but we're not going to act like you weren't hearing from me. And I said it, and it is what it is. We're not going to act like I didn't invite you to brunch. I got the text. Hey, you want to go to brunch? After filming was over in August. So I still apologized for not being as available. I do still, because I do pull back and get my energy back. Got to get my energy on point. So I apologize for that. But at the same time, the facts are I was contacting you. Destiny posting receipts. Okay, let me apologize for whatever I may have done. And that's what I did. So I apologize all day for not being as available. I apologize because I wasn't as available. And I pulled back. I pulled back from everyone and everything because filming always does is so much. And if you've never filmed a reality TV show, you might wouldn't get it, but trust me, it's a lot.
When the season ended, I did pull away to focus and concentrate on myself, but I didn't abandon Destiny. The first time that I heard of Destiny being upset or feeling like I wasn't a good friend was at the reunion, on a stage with other castmates in front of the world. And it's interesting to me because Destiny actually, went through a divorce and finalized it and didn't tell me that it was final. She kept that to herself. So it's interesting to me that she was expecting something from me that she didn't give. I pulled away to have time, just like you, when we were at the reunion and was asked, how is your relationship now with Melody? Your response was, I don't know. I haven't talked to her since we wrapped.
Destiny, what is your friendship like with Melody now?
I'm confused because I went from talking to my girl every other day, and I haven't spoken to Melody since we wrapped.
I heard that and knew that wasn't accurate. So you're making a face at me, so I'm gonna show you, Destiny. Me being the person I am, I didn't want to call you a straight up liar on that stage because I could have, but the facts are, September 6th, you said, what's up, Mel? Mind you, you said you hadn't talked to me at all. September 7th, I said, hey, morning, on my way to the Ville, what you got up? You didn't respond. September 8th, I wrote you again, morning, rise and grind, what you up to this morning? You said, just chillaxing.
I don't even say chillaxing, so.
That's what you said. Go to it. You said, I screenshotted it.
I don't ever say chillaxing.
You said, girl. Okay, then I said, you up yet? So I guess you didn't send me this picture, I
did, absolutely.
This is our thread. I'm not gonna fake no thread. You sent me this picture of you out on some water and said, much needed. I said, yes, good for you, you deserve it. Then September 10th, I said, hey, making sure you're good. Don't be rude.
I'm sorry, what?
Don't be rude.
Said that I went on a crusade to talk about her being a bad friend, which I never did. I want y'all to find the footage where I did. I want y'all to find the footage where I did. I want y'all to find the footage where I did. I want y'all to find the footage where I did. Now, after she made that comment on Carlos King's nightcap, I did say, now you showed me that you're a bad friend.
The whole hacking thing with Melody and Martell work.
I don't know how it works. I don't do that. That's legal. I don't know nothing about that. All I know is if you call him, that her voicemail came up. So
Is that really true? That's the thing.
ask Sheree.
Wait, did she call him and her and Melody?
I was that call that I was telling. I don't even know if the times are accurate, and I said this, but I was leaving her house, driving back to Huntsville. So it was like checking on me to get back home. I was leaving her house. So before I was supposed to go to the polo match with them, and I missed it because I had the times messed up. I was there in Atlanta rehearsing for my play that I was in, Lipstick Monologues. And so I missed the polo match, and he was like, just come over to Sheree's house. And we were over playing cards, having a good time. And I brought my niece with me because I knew I was going to drive back. And so she was hanging out with us, and we, playing spades and doing what.
How does this
explosion? You and Melody, you fell out because Melody overheard you having a conversation with Tisha.
Is that really why we fell out?
I too would feel a certain way if my friend was talking to someone that I was having issues with. Could you not see that?
Absolutely. I'm not blind, and I never want to be, so, oh, well, she's whatever. But yeah, I can absolutely see that. That's why I made it a point to take time to sit down with her and talk to her and see how she felt and, tell her what I said and what the discussion was. And we got to an amicable place about it because it wasn't that heavy at the time. It wasn't heavy until the camera started rolling again. We both know where our bodies are buried. I just choose because how I move as a friend is to never tell her. Right. So at the end of the day, I love her and I wish her the best.
Now we see another addition to the show, Stormy.
But in terms of
you're gonna be throwing me under the bus and trying to make it seem like I'm sleeping with somebody's ex-husband and somebody's current friend, man, whatever they are. I don't like that. That is again another character damaging statement. You can't just lob that out there and just leave it.
Where do you think that came from?
Well, I mean, she said she had receipts, and that was, omitted. She I got the receipts to show it. Receipts, I say receipts. But I was like, well, what you mean when you hate this one? Because how would you have receipts? How would you have that?
I'm still trying to figure out how am I calling Martell and then somebody else's voicemail pick? That is so weird to me. I'm stuck. Okay.
And another thing that was omitted was her and Marcel got into it because he was like, well, how did you even know it? And she said, well, somebody called and the number I called back and I asked, who did you intend to call and what number was it? And he was like, that sounds like.
So I, as a viewer, root for that. I need a couple of questions I got to ask. Is there hope? and what was said in the hotel room. Please tell me what was said in the hotel room.
Listen, everybody want to know that, even me. So I would say this: the relationship that Melody and I developed and was real. It was real. It was real. It was a lot. We experienced a lot of trauma together. We did a lot of healing together. The problem that I have with I don't know how to answer that question is because in friendship you go through opposition, right? How you move as a friend in opposition determines how you go forward after that. And how she's been moving to me is not that of a friend. And that's just where I'm at right now. Before I would have been like, Jesus Christ himself gonna have to come down here and fix this and be like, hey, let's get this good. But this is where I'm at now.
So were you and Letitia, because I got to make it plain for the people that's gonna watch this. Were you and Letitia, what were y'all saying about this woman in the room at the hotel? Because I felt like we needed a camera there.
Listen, Love Bear just people talk about scripted reality shows. This ain't one of them. Okay, I still go on. So real talk, and I know people like when you say real talk, probably don't trust you, but in real life, what happened was I was getting dressed because everybody was leaving that day except for the Scotts. They stayed an additional couple of days because it was Marcel's birthday. So Tisha was like, I'm coming to your room. So I'm literally running back and forth in the bathroom, folding clothes, putting stuff in my suitcase. And we were just talking about the reunion. Literally, we were recapping the reunion and then parts that I didn't see. So like one of the things Tisha said was, oh, I really hated that part where they asked Martell the question and he wouldn't answer it. And when she explained to me what it was, I was like, oh no, that's terrible. So that we talked about, and then we talked about her not knowing that me and Melody had not spoken to each other. And so let me be very clear. People keep saying, oh, Destiny's needy. She needed to talk to Melody. They texted, A text message is not the same as talking. I don't care what century you were born in. Talking to your friend on the phone regularly, or even not even regularly, like maybe once a week or every 2 weeks was something that we did. So for me to go from calling and making sure she's good and not getting a response until a week, and then saying again, hey, I texted you a week ago, what's up? You good? You alive? You disconnected from the world was my exact text message to say, hey, if you are, just let me know you're good. And then to get a text message back, let's hang out, and I was out of town. But after that, from the inception, from the ending of filming to the stage, I had not spoken to her on the phone. So we only text. So that's different. So for me, I'm like, I don't know where we are. I don't know if we're good or not, because I hadn't talked to my girl. Like we text off and on. I may text, she may respond, whatever the case may be. So people with these, she had receipts, that didn't even equate to what I was talking about. So getting back to what Tisha was like, I didn't even know y'all, because Tisha and I talk. And I did tell her, hey, I didn't talk to Melody. I don't know what's going on with her. I didn't have that conversation with her, so she was shocked by it on the stage. And so she was like, I didn't know y'all haven't been talking to each other. And I was like, yeah, it is what it is. After so many times of reaching out, you just can't lose no sleep. That's what I said.
Okay.
And the other part to that was when she was telling me about the Martell situation, and I said this to Martell and they edited it out, or maybe it'll come out, I don't know. And I was like, well, I did say that, Martell is a little jealous because Melody's, continuing on without him. And he always wanted that to be the family. And that's when she knocked on the door.
Gotcha.
So
and the interaction at the hotel, did it feel hostile to you, or did it feel?
Well, it was Melody. It was, y'all too loud. Y'all coming in here with the, what did she say? We can hear you outside the door. Oh, we can hear you in the hallway, whatever she said. And I'm like, okay, girl, what you want me to repeat it? Like, this is our conversation. And I was like, whatever. And so she was coming to the room to give me her new number. Now, this is crazy because she's like, oh, we've been communicating with each other, but I didn't even have your number. So when you brought your receipts, why didn't you tell people that you came to the hotel room and give me a number? Because I didn't have it. So this is my thing. If it was such a bad conversation or you felt slighted, why would you give me your number in that moment? She could have just knocked on the door and said what she said and walked on. She gave me her new number. And then my landscaper, it was like 5 minutes later, she walked away and, pulling a little bag. Like I said, these walls are real thin. And I'm like, whatever, girl. And so she left. And my landscaper texted me immediately after, like 5 minutes after that. And was like, hey, I have Mel's number, but I need to reach out to her. Can you have her call me? So I texted, I said, random. Jimmy just called me to ask me for your number for, I guess, congrats, whatever he was doing. And she was like, oh, I just talked to him. I don't know why you don't have it. I said, I don't know. And anyway, so she's like, okay, I'll call him. And then she texted back and said, it's a lot of random things happening today. So I responded back and was like, all love, or something I said. And she was like, yeah, I'm good. So I called, like, what's up? Because at this point, I'm getting ready to get in the car to leave.
Yeah.
And she didn't answer. And then she texted back and she was like, LOL or something. And I said, we were just recapping the reunion. And she said, LOL or something. We'll talk. And I called again, I think. And then she said, we'll talk when we get back to Huntsville. And we went to brunch like a couple weeks later and sat down and talked about everything. She's like, oh, that's what I heard. And her specific words to me were, I can't believe that I was talking about you. Like, it wasn't like that. And she said, I didn't think you were talking shit about me. Exact words. It was who you were talking to. And in the moment, I was like, now that I've processed it, but in the moment, like, girl, you know, it wasn't like, I didn't know you ain't, hi, I didn't know y'all were enemies. Like, I didn't know.
Destiny recently had a war of words on social media where you revealed that you gave Destiny money in her time of need. Can you talk to us about that?
If you notice, I hadn't said anything about how I'd helped her until I had to defend myself because she made a post on social media, you know, and called me a liar and a master manipulator. And I'm like, rewind. Let me remind you how I've actually been a great friend, right? I'm this kind of friend, Carlos. You don't have to ask me for anything. If I see there's a need, I'm going to do all I can to help you. So, for example, if I come to your house and there's a utility notice on your door, that's all, and that's enough for me.
Was there a notice on her door?
There was.
And how much did you send her?
Total, probably close to around about 5,000-6,000.
Whoa. I pay you that much on this show?
Was that, you know, I was saying, you know, because when you file bankruptcy, you're not just bouncing back and doing things like I just said. So when, you know, when said friend, you know, car kept breaking down, I was the one that was picking her up, you know, and it was a bonding thing for us too, because we both had, you know, small children. Our children are young. Her youngest and mine are 6 months apart. 5 to 6 months apart. So, you know, when her car would break down and I'll have to pick her up, I had errands that I needed to finish, and so did she. So we did it together. I talked about that at the reunion. I also talked about when it completely broke down and I had to be the one to use my credit to rent cars because she couldn't. Because you can't when you have bankruptcy and you don't have a credit card. And also when you owe them because you didn't return cars, like, or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, people are like, oh, you shouldn't tell stuff. I mean, the real is the real. This is what happened.
Yeah, I pull up, roll the window down it. I pull up, roll the window down it. Yeah, I pull up, roll the window down it.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. Cause the love you give, you can't replace. It's not in the case of anybody. That's why I spend my life